Hey guys, AuspiciousAussie here and welcome to episode 88 of the San Marino Challenge. Now, today's episode, as you can tell from the title, it's going to be the UEFA Champions League quarterfinal against Valencia. Now, honestly, I don't think Valencia is actually the hardest team we could have drawn. I think it's kind of favourable for us at this stage. Now, obviously, we'll go over the fixtures in a second, but as you can tell, we did manage to knock Bayern out of the first knockout round, so that was a pretty good result overall over the two legs. Anyway, first things first, let's have a look at the league table. As you can see, and as you would expect, we are currently first, still undefeated in the league. We have suffered defeat, unfortunately, but it was not in Serie A, so happy days in terms of that. On course to win another, well, I think it's our fourth or fifth in a row. Can just have a look here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is going to be our sixth. Wow. Okay, that's very cool, to be honest. 6 times in a row if we do manage to win it at the end of this season. But yeah, we're on 78 points. Then we have Empoli, who are in second, well, tied second, although they have a game in hand over Sampdoria. Really interesting that both of those teams are doing as well as they are. Empoli, of course, they do have Nicoli, the striker, who was on loan at our club once upon a time back in Serie B, where he really didn't do much for us, but was pretty integral in that season. We'll say that. We of course got promoted in our first season in Serie B, and he played 24 games, I think. So yeah, fair play. Anyway, let's go over the fixtures. I also have a couple of youth players to show you, and we also have a little bit more bad news as well. We'll go into that in a second. So the fixtures, of course, the previous game was some time ago, and it was the Supercoppa, sorry. I don't know why I said that really weird. But we followed that up with a pretty disappointing run of fixtures. The first of which was a 1-1 draw against Bologna. We opened the scoring through Novi in the 4th minute, and then Bologna got their goal back in the 91st minute, getting the equaliser there. Really disappointing draw, especially conceding in the dying minutes of the second half. We then could only manage a 0-0 draw away at Inter. Pretty disappointing. We didn't play too badly. If you look at all the average ratings, they're pretty average. 6.8, 6.9. You would expect worse coming from a 0-0 draw, or I know I would personally, but like I said, we didn't play too badly. We followed that up with another 0-0 draw, this time coming at home. As you can see, Champlat, 6.5. I'm a little bit worried about him because he, I think, went about 10 games without scoring a goal. And honestly, that's just not good enough, if I'm being honest. He's also about to hit the last year of his contract, and he's also 28 years old. So I'm thinking about selling him and moving on. And I say that because one of the youth players we've got in this intake is literally the new Albani. He's that good. He might even be better than Albani was when I first got Albani through the academy. Anyway, 0-0 draw. We then followed that up with another disappointing result in the first leg of the semi-final of the TIM Cup against Bologna again. A 1-0 loss. This is the only loss that we've suffered since, I think, Monaco? The Monaco game? Yeah, it was the only loss we've suffered since the Monaco game, which was pretty much in the second month of the season. So, yeah, they had a penalty. They put it away. Sabir had a penalty that he missed in the first half. Super disappointing. We then managed to bounce back with a 1-0 victory away to Roma. Zaffarani was the only goal scorer in that game. Then came the first knockout round, home leg for us. As you can see, 2-0 victory over Bayern Munich. Very impressive stuff for Marto, and then Miele on the score sheet there as well. We then absolutely battered Parma, a 4-0 result there. Sokolic, Brambati, Albani, and then Formato with a penalty. Then came the second leg of the Italian Cup semi-final against Bologna, and we could not score a goal. Super, super disappointing to not make it to the final of the Cup once again. And yeah, Bologna have been somewhat of a bogey team for us this season, that is for sure. I mean, 2 draws and a loss within the space of about a month, essentially. Little over a month. Yeah, as you can see, Ferretti came off the bench, I think, and didn't play too well, sorry. He might have actually started. I'm not 100% sure. But disappointing, to say the least. We then managed a 0-0 draw against Torino. As you can see, we were 1-0 down, away from home, through a Festa goal. And then luckily, in the 89th minute, Albani coming up clutch and getting the goal. That was much needed. Since then, we have gone unbeaten. The first game was a 1-0 victory over AC Milan, Formato scoring in the 6th minute. As you can see, some pretty, bad performances out there as well. I mean, we had Chanplat 6.2. This is what I'm sort of talking about. He's not playing well. He played well for the first half of the season, but since January, he's really dropped off. And you can kind of see that with the results as well. A lot of low scoring, 0-0s, 1-0s, just not good games. And yeah, like I said, I feel like it might be time to move on because he is getting old and is not really performing. And of course, we do have Albani. We've got Pew. We've also got the new guy from this year's youth intake as well. So we'll see what happens, but it'll be interesting to say the least. Next game was a 4-1 victory over Sassuolo. Formato with a penalty, Vitek with a brace, and then Hendrick, I think, getting his first goal for the club. I might be mistaken, but I think that was his first goal in the 93rd minute. We then managed to beat Bayern Munich in the second leg of the knockout stage, of the first knockout round, I should say. As you can see, Vitek opened the scoring in the first minute, so perfect start away from home as well. He then got a second goal in the 47th minute, and then we also had Miele scoring in the 20th. Moving on from that, we had a 2-0 victory away to Catanzaro. Ferretti actually getting a brace in that game. We then smashed Juventus 4-0. We had Vitek with a brace, and then we also had Cervellini, the centre-back, with a brace there as well. Managed a 2-1 victory over Lazio, despite having a player sent off. Brambati picked up 2 yellow cards. We then went 1-0 down in the 64th minute. Formato popped up with the equaliser in the 80th, and then Miele in the 90th minute, getting the winner. And the final game, just played, was a 2-1 victory at home against Napoli. Albani opening the scoring in the 3rd minute. We then actually went 2-0 up through Vitek on the stroke of half-time. And then, yeah, they had a player sent off in the second half, the start of the second half. And then they also scored a goal as well to bring it to 2-1. Very weird. Albani also missed a penalty as well. So, realistically, it probably should have been a little bit more dominant if we did manage to score that. So, yeah, in terms of the new youth players, I said we've got a couple, basically. A few new players. So the first of which, the guy I'm really excited about, this guy. Actually, no, it's not that guy. I signed him as well. And unfortunately, he's also a dual nationality. My bad, that was a bit anticlimactic. It is this guy here. Mattia Rossi. Looking at him, he looks absolutely incredible. He, without a doubt, is going to be a top quality player like Albani, like, Cervellini, like Michelotti. Coming from our youth academy, he is top quality. Unfortunately, he's also dual nationality. So, yeah, it's going to be tough. But he is next level. The only thing I can really criticize is, of course, 4 jumping reach, and 4 strength. But apart from that, 15 finishing, 12 passing, 15 technique, 13 composure, 13 off the ball. I mean, good acceleration, good pace, and 17 determination there as well. I mean, you would assume that he's a fairly small player. He's also got 11 heading, which I think is pretty good. 3.5 star, possibly 4.5 star potential ability. When I saw him, I was literally praying. I was praying that he was going to be single nationality, but it's not. It's not to be. Anyway, the other players, like I said, Ercolani, again, he could be a pretty good striker, 2.5 star potential. But again, he's not single nationality, so it's not great. It's really not great. We also have this guy, Stefanelli, and he is single nationality, which is really good to see. We also need a new left winger. We don't really have anyone of great quality, but again, his potential isn't that great either. So I'm a little bit worried about that. Only 1.5 star potential for him. And the final player was this guy as well, Celli, Federico Celli. I think he's dual nationality. No, he's single. Okay. For some reason, I thought he was dual. But he looks like a pretty solid left back. Only 2-star potential, possibly 3. So we'll have to keep an eye out on him. And I'll probably bring him up into the San Marino squad. And we'll have to possibly choose one of the other fullbacks, both of which are at our club currently, to drop in his place. I think he's a little bit better than both of them, if I'm being honest. Or he will be better than them for sure, once he develops a little bit. And I think there was one other guy. Was it this guy? Yeah. I think it was. Yeah. Andrea Valentini. Pretty good, prospect for centre mid. But he is unfortunately... Was it him? I don't know if it was him or not. I mean, we have this guy as well, Amici, who I'm thinking his potential actually went up recently. He came from last year's academy, youth intake, I should say. Anyway, let's get into the quarterfinals here. We'll go over the starting lineup. And the other thing I needed to mention was Cervellini picked up his first cap for Italy. It was only a friendly, but again, you would think it's only a matter of time before he's full capped, possibly at the Euros coming up. Anyway, today's starting lineup is going to be Ingvarsen in goals, Brambati at right back, Cervellini and Sabir as the 2 centre backs. Michelotti, as always, will be the left back today. Novi slots into defensive midfield as I'd expect. Mioli will partner Sokolik in the centre of midfield. We're going to go with Vitek on the right wing, who I've actually just given a new contract to. I was going to release him, let him go at the end of the season. But since he came back from his injury, he has really impressed me. As you can see, he's got 11 goals and a 7.47 average rating at the moment in all competitions. So he's impressed me enough to get a new contract. I think he actually took a little bit of a pay decrease. So I think I managed to get 2k. It's not a lot, but we got 2k off his wage. Then we're going to go with Formato on the left wing. Chan Platt will be up front. I'm going to put a bit of faith in him today. I want him to prove me wrong. I don't want to sell him, but it's a definite possibility at the moment with the way he's playing. It's worth noting that Albani is actually, not playing too well himself. They're sort of around the same goal tally. So, yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting one. And the thing with Albani is he's come through the academy. I don't really want to sell him, even if, he'll never play for San Marino now. That's well established. Same with the Michelotti as well. So I want to keep him around, even if they aren't going to be featuring for the national team. Maybe one day we'll sell them. If I get an 80 million pound offer, they're probably going to go. But anyway, moving on. The bench today is going to be Sogodogo, Evers, Zaffarani, Hendrick, Mazzari, Ferretti, and Albani. Actually, worth noting that Mazzari has picked up a cap as well. So a little bit, random. I wasn't really expecting it. He hasn't played too well. So sort of out of left field a little bit. Anyway, let's advance. Of course, the first and second leg will both be played in this episode. I think we do have a game against Empoli in between, so that's going to be interesting. And, you know, they are coming second at the moment, so would be a pretty good game. But yeah, I'm going to do that one off camera and then just come back for the second leg. But yeah, Valencia, I mean, they're a really good team. You know, I don't want to take them too lightly, but in terms of the other teams that are available to, you know, draw against, I'm pretty happy. Anyway, Champlat, pretty good opportunity there. And we managed to get the goal. Mioli getting the breakthrough in the 7th minute. And that was a cheat. Who crossed that? I would love to know. It was Vitek. As you'd expect, he's playing so well. Full credit to him. You know, he definitely deserved the new contract. And I just had to give it to him. He's one of my favourite players. He's really not that great in terms of his attributes. But he's one of those players that just puts in, you know, 100% and plays above his ability. And I love that. I love that type of stuff. So fair play. Gets what he deserves. Yeah, that wasn't a great header by him, though. I don't really know what he was doing there as we're approaching half-time. I mean, if we can finish this game without conceding, I think that'd be ideal. We don't have to score any more goals, but if we don't concede, that would be above and beyond the best result, I would say. How was that a foul? Was that a penalty? Is that going to be a penalty in the box? I don't even know what happened there. That was super random. I honestly don't know. I'm curious to see. I mean, it's a penalty, so it must have been, I don't know, someone pulled back in the box or something like that. Anyway, for Marto to take it, and he misses. I was kind of expecting him to miss there, if I'm being honest. Anyway, half-time. It's actually a Madrid derby in the other game. Atletico versus Real. Pretty exciting game for a quarterfinal. Anyway, they haven't had a shot on target yet. Hopefully we can keep it like that for the rest of the game. As Mioli picks up a yellow card. And I think I'm actually going to bring Albani on for Formato. When I've played Chanpalat a couple of times in the left wing position. Because Andy Adam has picked up an injury again. But yeah, I played him there, and I think he scored a brace. I think he scored 2 goals when he was in that position. So, you know, he's able to play there. And that's important to note. You know, he's not too bad playing in that position. And it's definitely an option. Obviously, it helps with depth and stuff like that. But Formato being on a 6 match rating at the moment, it's not great, especially after missing the penalty. Sokolic, I mean, he's left-footed, so you got to cut him a bit of slack for that. But it was pretty over the bar, to be honest. And I think we might actually make another sub here. I think we'll bring Zaffarani on. Brambati's on a 6.6 as well. So we'll bring him off. Albani's in behind. Literally no one at all in the box. A little bit disappointing. He shoots and he scores, though. He's world class. Albani is world class. A little bit inconsistent, but then he can do stuff like that and absolutely just smash it from outside the box. So, well done, lad. Well done. Michelotti's picked up a yellow, so we'll ease him off as well. Yeah. I was thinking about bringing Sokolic off, but I think what I'll do instead is he'll play the rest of this game, and then Hendrik will play the Empoli game, and we'll give Sokolic a rest to keep him fresh. And we have conceded. Is it offside, though? It is offside. Thank God. Conceding a goal from the first shot on target at the end of the game. I know it would only make it 2-1 and would still win the game. but that would be a horrible away goal to concede. And luckily, we didn't do it. So a 2-0 victory in this first leg, exactly what we needed. That's a big result. Really, puts the pressure onto Valencia for that second leg. And we'll just praise Albani here. Great goal from him, to be honest. Yeah, very happy. All right. Well, I'm going to play this Empoli game off camera, and I'll join you back in 1 second for the lineup for the second leg. All right. So the one game we have to go over is, of course, the Empoli game. As you can see, we absolutely smashed them. 4-0 victory away from home. With this defeat, they've, of course, dropped down into third position as well. Zaffarani opened the scoring. It was essentially the first minute, and Formato's free kick hit the wall. Zaffarani was right next to him. Cheeky little shot in, 1-0. We then had Cervellini score 2 goals off of corners. Really impressive. I mean, he did it a couple of games ago. I think it was against Juventus. Yeah, similar sort of thing. 2 goals. I believe they were both off corners as well. And then the final goal scorer was Hendrik. Very impressive. A bit of a rocket from him, to be honest, which is nice to see. A little bit unfortunate that his determination is dropping a little bit, but that's sort of what's going to happen. A lot of our squad isn't that great in terms of the determination. It's still pretty good. Like, it's above average, but it's not like that 20 sort of level. Anyway, let's get into the lineup for this second leg. Basically, we're going to go with the exact same lineup apart from Albani. Of course, he came on, scored the second goal, so we're going to go with him today up front. And then, of course, Chan Platt will be on the bench. And as you can see, everyone's pretty much fit for this one. I did a lot of rotating for that Empoli game. So, yeah, we got a full strength team, I would say. And then we also have, a very fit team as well. I'm going to tell the boys to go out and carry on from where they left off last match. A very impressive 4-0 victory, I would say. Arguably against the second best competition we've had in the league this season. Anyway, we're 2-0 up on aggregate so far, which is, I would say, the most important thing, which it is, obviously. It's what will send us through. But yeah, let's see what happens. I would like to get a goal pretty early, just to get the away goal. Just make sure that we've solidified ourselves into the semi-final. And I will actually... Sokolik, that's a really good save from their goalkeeper. Yeah, what I was trying to say is I will actually skip forward to the semi-final draw for this episode. I think it occurs 2 days after this game finishes. So we'll skip forward after this game, and we'll find out who we will be taking on in the next episode, of course. Unfortunately, we're not going to be in the TIM Cup final, so no domestic cup final in terms of an episode for you guys. But hopefully, we can make it to the Champions League final for the end of the season. That is the goal, and that is exactly what we want to see. Well, I know it is. Well, I'm assuming that everyone wants to see that. If you're a fan of the series. Anyway, Albani breaking forward here. Gets past his man. And the goalkeeper makes a pretty good save there. Probably should have been 1-0. And like I said, Albani is... he was 100% fit. Oh, what a tackle by Novi. I'm so glad I didn't sell him. I received 2 offers, both from China, trying to sign him. Really low offers as well. Like, they were barely even getting to his value, which is... I don't know. It was pretty annoying. Like, I was negotiating with them, and I sort of wanted about 30 million for him. And they were only offering about 50, like between 15 and 20. And now Sokolik has picked up an injury. Disappointing. We're bringing Hendrik on. to replace him. Like I said, he scored a rocket last game. It was pretty impressive. So hopefully he can come on, the 18-year-old. He's picked up a yellow card already, as has, I think, Sabir. Was it Sabir? No, Sabir already had his yellow. It was indeed Novi. So we'll ease both of these midfielders off. And hopefully we won't be picking up any red cards. Anyway, Shokri, our former player there. Of course, the Egyptian striker. We sold him to Leipzig, so maybe he obviously transferred into Spain with Valencia. He was always one that I didn't really want to sell. Anyway, Brembati opens the scoring, albeit it is going to VAR. I guess he was offside, possibly. But I'm pretty sure the goal will stand because usually it just gets declined. Yeah, there we go, 1-0. Usually it just goes straight over. Anyway, we've got 15 minutes left. We'll make a couple of subs. Champilat can come on for Marto. And then I think... yeah, we'll go with Ferretti for Vitek. And I think we'll leave it like that for now. I mean, we're 3-0 up on aggregate, so it looks like we're already going into the semi-finals here. Which is great. It really is great. You know, when I sold Britos, I was a little bit unsure of how we were going to go in the Champions League. I mean, like I said, we lost our first group stage game against Monaco. And that, you know, it scared me. We'll say that. Anyway, that was a pretty bad shot from the Valencia player there. Didn't really get hold of it at all. And Hendrick isn't playing too well. He's on a 6.5. So, yeah, not the best performance off the bench from that guy, but it is what it is. Anyway, 1-0 victory in the second leg. And like I said, we're through to the semi-final. And yeah, there you go. The draw is in 2 days. Who was that? Okay, Real Madrid made it through. So hopefully, I would like to avoid them, but I don't know who the other two teams are, so it's going to be interesting. Kenny, still not natural in centre mid. And Sokolik is going to be injured for 4 weeks, so that's pretty bad. And apparently my assistant wants us to draw Lyon, which I think would be... I mean, they've improved a lot in terms of, you know, French football. I would say they're on PSG's level. But yeah, we'll advance a couple of days here. I think it's on the 16th of April that the draw's made. And it's just started to rain, so yeah, good stuff. Hopefully you won't be able to hear that in the recording. But it's pretty loud. So I do apologise. Anyway, any moment now, the draw will be made. And we'll be able to see who we will face in the next episode. Let's do an automatic draw. Alright, let's see. Real Madrid will be versing Lyon. So it's going to be us and Manchester United in the semi-final. Okay, fair enough. I mean, any one of the teams is going to be extremely hard to beat. So, yeah. Manchester United for the next episode. It's only 1 game away. And then for some reason we have 2 games in between, which is really weird. I don't like that at all. It's kind of frustrating. Anyways, thank you very much for watching, guys. If you could drop a like, it'd be much appreciated. If you could subscribe as well, if you haven't already, that would also be much appreciated. Hit the notification bell, and that should hopefully keep you up to date with these episodes coming out in the future. Apart from that, guys, take it easy, and I'll see you for the semi-final.